I'm sure by now many of you have at least heard of the EDP445 situation. That sounds like some kind of fucking Call of Duty Zombies Easter egg, but for those that don't know, EDP445 stands for Eat That Pussy. He was a big YouTuber. He had a huge online presence, and this week he was accused, and with a lot of evidence backing it, of being a pedophile. And with video evidence, him showing up to a meeting place where he believed he was meeting with a 13-year-old that was actually set up in very similar style to like a Chris Hansen investigation by a YouTuber, Predator Poachers. That name actually is shared by other people who hunt predators, but today this was done by one person, or one group in particular, and that person, the big face behind it, is not a good person at all. And that's why I wanted to do this little intro here, because I want to make it clear that there's no heroes in this story. You can't root for the person behind the investigation of EDP. They did a good thing, but they're a shit person. The main guy behind Predator Poacher has had a lot come out about him recently, showing his prank calls to a BLM hotline where he just says the N-word. He said the N-word, hard R, multiple times. Believes he's like an edgy troll, but his trolling is just saying the N-word. Epic prank, and he's just not someone that I can really appreciate the work of. But he and his group were the ones that broke this story on EDP, who is a very bad person as well, who, with all of this evidence coming forward, which is pretty damning, have put together this whole case against EDP445. And today I watched it all on Twitch, streamed it with the community, so that way we could all be caught up on the internet lore together. I've heard it's really bad. So yeah, the general gist of it, EDP445, a huge YouTuber, very popular YouTuber. I personally wasn't super familiar with his work. I'd always heard his name though, stands for Eat the Pussy 445. So this came out a day ago, which was to hype this up. I think this is only reading text messages, and this is when he actually showed up. This is the only thing I've seen. This guy has a fucked up past. Like, even on this channel, apparently some videos that are still up from streams where he'd call BLM and drop the N-word to them or something. Like, he'd call organizations supporting BLM and just start dropping the N-word or some shit. Like, this guy is not a good guy.
So, everybody go subscribe right now. Go subscribe. And if you want to see the full chat messages...
I'm sorry to interrupt again. Another thing, the reason this video took so long for them to put out... is because he wanted to wait for it to get full monetization. So that's why he kept hyping it up, and the reason why he kept pushing it back, because it wouldn't get full ads on it. So, this guy's kind of a real piece of shit, if I'm being honest. Like, he does a good thing in the worst possible way.
And show interest.
Who starts a conversation like that?
You're old, so...
What?
Bit of talk.
Dropped a mean ass shit. Man, they say fucking chivalry is dead. This guy is suave. Now that is how you flirt. That's a good line for Tinder, I'd say. If you guys need any help on like your game, take notes from EDP. Dropped a mean ass shit. And then send an audio message. Do I have to go to the other ones in order to... He sent a picture of his shit? No fucking... Alright, hold on. We're gonna have to keep going back and forth. This is gonna be like an MLA formatted fucking research paper here with citations. For these text messages, if I want to see them uncensored, do I have to go to this stream?
For more people to...
So do I have to like cross-reference the uncensored versions with the stream here? I can't show a picture of literal shit on Twitch, but I need to confirm whether or not he sent a shit pic. That's very bold. Just ordered some pizza, about to fuck this shit up. Pizza sounds good. Hell yeah, I'm about to annihilate that shit. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh! He sent a picture of his shit! Dropped a mean ass shit, and it's a full loaf. This man, he's sending shit pics. And that is not a healthy shit. That's very runny. There's no solid foundation of the stool. That is alarming, considering he just annihilated a pepperoni chicken pizza. He also sent his dick. Yeah, but that's not nearly as cool as a shit pic. EDP was breaking new grounds. They were only just starting to talk. It had been 2 days, I think. And then he hits her with drop a mean ass shit and then sends a picture of his toilet bowl with poopy in it. Yeah, I'd show the other video, but I'm worried of how many pictures of shit he might have sent. Like, what the fuck is this? Hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Good, just having lunch. What did you eat? Tacos. That's cool, what are you doing? Just got done beating my shit. Now watching YouTube. Oh yeah, I just had some tacos. Also just beat the fuck out of my cock. What are you doing? Yeah, he sent a picture of his actual unedited shit. He didn't even put like a cute little emoji over it, so I'm a little concerned to show it. I think we're right here. How is this possible? I just went to a random point in here. How is the bathroom trip going? Going great. I'm fucking this bitch up. What the fuck? Are you sure he only sends one shit pic? Like, it seems like that's all they talked about was him shitting. I went a little too far. I skipped ahead in the lore. I was at 14 minutes, not 20. I accidentally spoiled chapter 2 here, it seems. I like this part. Relax, I'm not a weirdo or anything. When literally 5 days ago he sent a picture of his actual shit in a toilet. No, we're doing both videos. The only reason I'm going back and forth is because these are censored and I want to understand how we got here. Oh, he seems bothered that she's 13, but then for some reason continues to talk. Oh, okay, here we go. So he has like a realization here. Not enough to go to jail over. Okay. So how does he continue to like fall for this then? I was eating a corn dog today and the bitch burned the roof of my mouth. I spit that shit out so fast. Alright. Just a little PSA, don't take pictures like this. These kind of pics just never really work. It's just kind of a weird pic. Make sure you get some good flattering angles. You don't need to put like a ton of thought into it, but just enough to know where it doesn't look like you're crawling under someone's bed. Where are you ticklish? On my back and stomach. If you ever want something from me, and you want it, the easiest way would be to tickle me. Okay. I hope you don't tickle me, that's my weakness. If EDP was a boss battle, tickling would be his weak spot. That'd be your DPS phase. One of these days, I'm gonna surprise you, put my hands over your eyes and be like, guess who? That's like the worst surprise ever. That'd be like the last way I'd want to be introduced to somebody. Ugh, this is so fucking weird. Want your first kiss to be enjoyable. This really does remind me of To Catch a Predator, like the chat logs that they'd show. So he was like super into nibbling on her ear and being tickled and shit. Started talking about sex, and then here he had a realization like, that's fucking illegal and wrong and bad. And now we're caught up. No, we're not. Oh my god, this is still not it. Cute little fingers. Oh, how did this... Okay, what? How did this happen? Literally, like 10 messages ago, he's like, this is bad. Can't do it. We can be friends. Cute fingers, by the way. So you want to have sex? I can go easy, of course. Wait. Nah, EDP doesn't go easy. He goes ultra nightmare mode. There's no slowing down there. Man's just a fucking machine. I honestly enjoy doing what my YouTube name says. Eating the pussy. Yeah. Munching down on those beef curtains, baby! Yeah, there you go, EDP. What's the 445? Just a random number I chose, nothing to the meaning. Definitely has meaning now. I think the 445 absolutely has meaning. The amount of years he'll spend in jail. Well, probably not. You guys, I didn't know this. I learned this the other day. You guys remember Jared Fogle? The guy who had like 15 quadrillion quadruple bytes worth of child porn on his computer, as well as like openly admitting to abusing kids. You know he only got 13 years in jail? Did you know that? I thought he got life imprisonment. This man had so much child porn they had to invent a new way of measuring how much he had. And he only got 13 years in jail. This had to be like a full-time job texting this guy. putting in 9 to 5 hours here on the text messenger. Can't wait to hug you and kiss you. On the lips. On the cheek. On the neck. And I'd kiss and taste you down there. The vagina. The old vagina. Man, EDP really does just have a way with words. I love to kiss and lick the top of the foot. I love the toes, actually. Huh. So I can lick and suck your boobs. Pretty incredible. How does it feel? Pretty incredible, to be honest. The nipples get hard and really sensitive. I'm telling you, this is a lie. EDP went full fanfic here. He didn't fuck a school teacher. He didn't suckle on her nipples. This doesn't sound like anything a school teacher would say. I'm gonna know more about EDP's fucking life than his therapist does. There's so many text messages. For a virgin, the vagina is tight. Oh, here we go. Getting a health ed course from EDP, the man who just sent a picture of his shit. Basically, when intercourse happens, the penis is stretching open the vagina and forcing those muscles to temporarily stretch apart from one another. That's where the pain comes from. Ah, yes. She should have quizzed him. And what exactly does the potassium pump do in the body, EDP? You seem very knowledgeable on anatomy and physiology. Can you complete my homework? You used the wrong form of your, EDP. Some teacher you are. Your body is full of excitement and anticipation. You're wrong, your again. Your body I'd anticipating the sex. Poetic. Shakespearean, in fact. I also like roleplay. Hey, that's where you dress up and pretend to be Chris Hansen arresting me. It's a big fetish. Babe, 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 babe. My cute ass little baby girl. How many days have passed since he said, we can only be friends. This is illegal. This is bad. This will fuck me up if it ever got out. I can't do this. And then he immediately goes into, babe, 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 let me suckle your nipples. Man, he really knows what to say. I ran out of toilet paper while taking a shit at the auntie's house. Hey, now I'm starting to get a little hot and bothered if I'm being honest. This guy's just smooth. The amount of times he's told me about his shits that he's taken, sent me a picture of his shit, how can I not start to fall in love, you know what I mean? Such a sassy little shit. I love it. Come to your house, climb through your window, and kiss your cute ass passionately. That's the only solution. Alright, climbing in like the tooth fairy, but instead of leaving money under the pillow, he leaves a little kiss. A little nibble on the ear. Maybe suckle on the toes a bit. Whoa, what the fuck? Handcuff you, throw you in the back of my car, and bring you back to my dungeon. That got really intense super quick. What's brewing? If I'm being honest, it's that I can't wait to feel how tight your vagina is. Cock is really hard. That's how it gets when guys get horny. Ugh. He's really gone in hard now. He's fucking firing in the turbo boosters here. Before it was like, oh, I can't wait to just put my hands over your eyes and say, hello, surprise. Right into, fucking how tight is that pussy? My rock hard dick is about to burst. Ugh, you even have me jerking off. Damn you. He's shaking his fist in the air while he's jerking off. And God damn you. Fuck. Why have you done this? Oh, okay, hold on. I just read that. Let me just make sure there's nothing there. Hold on. I'm not taking any chances here. Oh, he actually sent his cock. Oh, God. What is happening? He's going wild in the text messages now. Fuck. He's busted nuts twice in a single text string? Lord. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna send it on Instagram. It's not letting me send videos here. What the fuck? That's cum, babe. I hope he, like, came into a glass or something, or like a petri dish and stirs it around like a whole lesson. Ah, madame, this is splooge. Also known as semen. Many other names. Basically, whenever it feels so good to the point where I can't take it anymore, that's what happens, yes. The milk, the cream. Holy shit. You weren't kidding. This is really, like, fucking bad. And then the fact that he actually shows up, this is actually horrible. Oh no! He's becoming self-aware! He starts to recognize, like, shit, these could actually be screenshotted. Oh, and then from that concern, immediately back into, like, playing the health teacher. I know your body is growing and starting to develop. That's why I agreed to this. I want to be your first, little cute ass. Want to bend you over my table and oh! Just want to throw you on my bed and lick you up. Oh! What the fuck? This is worse than like 50 Shades of Grey writing, and that shit's horrible. They unironically use the term like sodden panties in that book. What do you think about that? I like that conclusion, as if you just dropped the mic. Yes, I want to fuck your fucking butthole. I want to butt fuck your pussy. So what do you think? Will you invest in my company? Like it's Shark Tank? That's probably the face he made when he went to meet her in person, and it was just two dudes with a camera. That's probably the exact face he wore right there. That's like a YouTube shocked thumbnail. Of course, real vaginas don't produce lube. Is he a virgin? It's not like vaginas are just dry. It's not like sticking your cock into like sandpaper. Maybe he just means like it doesn't produce Astroglide or something, like a specific lube brand. Like they don't have like a, it's not like Spider-Man's webs, like in the Amazing Spider-Man where you have to like put new web slingers in there for vaginal lube. But vaginas actually do get lubricated themselves. They're like a self-lubricating apparatus, really. Kiss your daddy goodnight. Sleep tight, princess. So this is when he finally started to believe this could all be a fucking setup. As if there wasn't an entire fucking 3 seasons of an extremely popular show all about this exact same thing. Even being fully aware of this very real possibility. Literally for like the 10,000th time in this conversation. Yeah, I guess every time he busted a nut, he started to realize this could all be fucking fake and a setup. But then after post-nut clarity faded away, he went right back to the, let me suck your fucking toes and take a shit.
Here, he doesn't want to be.
Let's go have a talk. How about on that bench right there? Okay.
Can we give him a lav mic so we get better audio? Let's really go in here. Put this on, EDP.
Right here? Coming out here to...
Glasses off.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home.
Oh, okay.
There was...
Do they sell cupcakes
That was...
in this driveway?
Because I'm...
Oh, okay. So you should title a video instead of, your video almost threw hands with a 13-year-old. You should title your video almost hands with a 13-year-old. I think that'll get a lot of hits, EDP.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this is you.
Good one. So he's got like a whole little
Right.
Okay. All right.
routine
So,
prepared.
What made you? So you initiated conversation with a 13-year-old knowing she was 13. Yes or no?
Correct.
Okay. So is that a good?
That guy in the background's trying so hard to
Okay.
seem like he's not
So,
listening.
You've been exposed for this before,
Correct.
and you called them. But this is damning.
Right.
This is. I had to make sure myself. Do you recognize me?
No.
Okay. I had to make sure myself.
Well, that didn't really work. You don't have the Chris Hansen prestige yet.
Me and my friend
Do you know who I am? Nope.
Hilarious, man.
Okay, that hurt.
I appreciate it, man.
What I don't understand, why are you attracted to like 13-year-olds? Like, why are you attracted to underage?
That's a good question,
You clearly
yes.
said
Why do you like children?
In one of the
Asking the hard-hitting
screenshots
questions.
that you've always wanted to be with someone younger. Like you like cops.
Right.
Like, what goes through your head?
They should have rehearsed a little bit like what they want to ask.
Real, man.
What goes on?
So why are you a pedophile?
Is loneliness, dude. I'll be completely honest with you, man.
Do what Chris Hansen does. He does a really good job with interviews.
Like, because we're not like that. We're not like that. We're not attracted to minors.
Bro, come on, man. You know exactly what it is, dude. Okay?
No,
Are you a
we're
pedophile?
attracted
What?
to we're attracted to female our own age, dude.
Let this be
is
known. Let this be known. I am not a.
So what are you? If you're here to meet up with a 13-year-old girl after sending
He hit it up like it was a catchphrase. Hey, not a pedophile.
A guy that is.
But we can't forward this to cops because
Yeah, absolutely.
most definitely this is not your first time either, right?
Right.
This is absolutely not
Whoa.
something you've done this.
This is actually This actually is my first time.
You just said it wasn't your first time.
Yeah, that was
Now you say second time?
that was a bit rough on that one,
The
EDP.
first time was
You've done this before, yes.
so
But I
you're
mean,
about
no,
15 year
though.
old, right?
Yeah.
So now, as far as the whole fantasy goes, you know what I mean? Let's be real, okay? You know what I mean?
Like,
What-
that's the part
what does
where
that
I'm
mean?
like,
Stop saying you know what I mean.
don't know what you mean.
Sexual fantasies, that's what I mean.
Okay, so sexual, and I'm not calling you the P word if you know what I'm talking.
Look at these screenshots.
I'm not calling you the P word.
Yeah, but you know what I
but
mean.
Do you fantasize about females under the age of 16? Yes or no? Sometimes.
Yes.
Okay.
What are you doing? Holy
Obviously
shit.
You fantasize about a 13-year-old, correct? Yes or no? Okay.
Holy
So,
shit.
if-
This is
right.
fucking rough.
Like,
Holy
second time.
shit.
I know, but you said earlier it was your first time. Like,
Okay.
Oh my god.
So we'll get to that. So you said, so 13 is the fantasy. Like for me, okay, 18. I think there's hot 18-year-olds. I wouldn't do anything with a 17-year-old,
Right.
but there's hot 17-year-olds.
Right.
But I don't go, yeah, when I see a 17-year-old. I'm just like, I can't do it. Like it's just not right.
What
But-
what are you
so
what are you going on
that
about?
Makes you go,
Maybe about 7 months ago.
This is just an extremely long confession. He doesn't he's not fighting any of this.
So what was it that made you realize?
Holy
like,
shit.
For example, it's a bad analogy. You know, like if there's a hot 19-year-old into me, I'm like, oh, awesome. But if there's
What
like
are you talking?
I shouldn't say there's such thing as a hot 12-year-old, but if there's a 12-year-old into me, a 13-year-old,
Jesus Christ.
I would never. So what makes it okay to you for you to come here?
It doesn't make it okay. I'm
Right.
just being honest with you. The screenshots, of course, I did. I mean,
but like, why would you send it to a 13-year-old? Like, and that proves that you were turned on by it.
Well, he
Oh,
said that a
proves
million
you were turned
times.
on,
We
like,
we
you
we
sent
know
a
that.
graphic photo.
Because you were hard when you were doing. Obviously, yes or no. So
He said that millions of times. I read
What were
it.
you gonna do when you came here?
I felt like I knew his cock pretty well by the end of those messages.
honestly,
Chris Hansen did it very well. Chris Hansen was a beautiful weapon against pedophiles, but YouTubers are not. Like, the only reason this video even surfaced is because they were finally able to get full ads on it. If this video never got ads, this wouldn't have even come out. They would have just let it ride, or let it die. They're really just in it for, like, views to exploit bad people like EDP. This one seems staged. Okay, I can tell you this one is definitely not staged because his entire YouTube career has ended. This one is definitely not one of those fake ones. I can assure you of that. Like, even the interview it's not even an interview. The questions are, so you're a pedophile, why? I also like hot girls, but if they're 17, it's like, they're hot, but, you know, I can't do that. It's like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, you should have just taken Chris Hansen's script. You know, not this. Did they call the cops? That's what I don't know. Like, I don't know if they even get law enforcement involved. If you take their word for it, they do. But I don't know. I don't know enough about them, so I couldn't tell you yes or no. I would hope so. Like, if they went through all this effort, did a full investigation, and didn't give it to authorities, they should also be at some level responsible for, like, endangering minors to allow someone like that to continue doing their shit. So I would think that it would go to law enforcement at some point.
But this isn't the first minor you've talked to before, correct?
right.
And there was more than one minor.
Holy
because
shit.
Last summer, I've had all these females reach out to me about you, and you know, at first I was like, okay, attention. Honestly, I was. But then I see more and more and more, and I see you saying, if anybody finds out about this, you're gonna
Oh, what a good way of looking at that. Hey, I was manipulated and abused by this guy. Attention, whore.
Ballpark number of how many minors you talked to. Like, you know, obviously it's been 5, so after 5, what would you say the number is?
6.
6? 6 minors.
6.
Name them.
Sick.
Let's see.
Holy
What's the Sophie?
shit.
There's what was her name?
Is he just making this up? Because he's like
No.
actively making everything worse. I feel like he's just making up names.
Like, yo, what the dude? Like, real talk, man.
Obviously, you didn't go what the F because you're talking to a 13-year-old.
Right.
I believe you did know her age before, yes or no?
Wrong.
How old was the girl?
Which one?
This is unreal.
Talking about right now.
What about the cameo?
The
I
cameo.
believe. Oh, you in the cameo one, right?
The one where you talked about
The boyfriend
you
hit
asked
you up
her
for the
to
cameo.
Send you private.
He's the prime Matt.
Probably 14, maybe 15. I'm not sure. But that was
number 2.
Seeing this really makes me appreciate Chris Hansen's work even more.
You do explain why you find her attractive, but I was just trying to...
I guess I never even stopped to consider how hard it must be to do something like this.
Girl number 3, girl number 4.
This is so long for no reason. They're saying nothing. They're not actually interviewing him.
In all these situations where you're in
Okay, I'm just gonna skip a little bit. Do you guys mind if I skip a little bit? This is really bad.
Like I thought it was last time.
You're soliciting child photos from this girl. Right. That's another charge. You know that, right? No. Do you know how many charges you did here today? 3. More than that.
What, you counted them like Pokemon cards? Three charges, collecting them all?
2 counts of graphic photos. You asked for graphic photos from this girl, and you came here to engage in sexual activity with a 13-year-old.
Well, hold on. This is like an actual question. Like this is actually hitting him with something. Actually something.
They're not misdemeanors. They're not infractions.
So hold on, let me see where this goes.
They're felonies.
So you were also a little bit submissive to her, yes or no?
so well.
You were a little bit submissive to her, yes or no?
I was.
Do you like being? Do you have a fantasy? So you did it make you fantasize about 13-year-olds, yes or no? Okay. Do you also fantasize?
This guy's like the only guy that's actually
a little bit, yes or no?
trying to go somewhere with
So
this.
what about a 13-year-old?
And you have the audacity to say, "Please don't do this." Are you serious? We should be asking you, please don't do this to minors.
I
We should be
mean,
not doing this to minors.
he's like that guy, or the girl in Game of Thrones walking around with the bells. Shame. Shame.
Apartments?
He's calling a friend right now.
Yeah, he's at the apartments.
Well, yeah, he needs to get picked up.
Right now, Philip.
Just please come.
What are you panicking for? He's clearly calling a friend to get the fuck out of there. He's trying to get extracted from the mission.
Right by the jacket.
Okay, please come quick. He's calling. It looks like he's calling some backup. Okay, all right.
Oh, this guy sucks. Looks like he's calling some backup.
So be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. We have a ton of new viewers. It'll help us a ton. We flew.
I knew there was
going to
be a subscriber call to action.
EDP. So be sure to subscribe.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Okay. So, that is fucking rough. That was a lot worse than I thought it'd be. EDP got fucking blasted. Yeah. The investigation, I think, was a very good thing done by very bad people. I did also see this one. The things this guy says are really bad. Like, racist, all kinds of horrible shit from this guy. And a lot of people have taken note of it, but not everyone. I don't think this guy should be gaining so many subs for this shit. He did a good thing, and he tried his best to make a lot of money off it and capitalize on it, constantly calling for subscribe actions, refusing to post the video till it has full ads. So, I think the guy sucks, but what he did was good. And when he's talking to this guy in particular, he keeps talking about how... So, I'll break it down. The guy here is suicidal. He gets caught and he starts talking about how he's suicidal, he's tried to kill himself a couple of times, and in response, this guy says, you can't kill yourself because you're Jewish. That'd be a hate crime. What are you, some kind of Jewish Nazi? And then he keeps saying that for like 5 minutes. Like, that's his whole joke. He has like a little stand-up routine about why this guy shouldn't kill himself because he's Jewish. It's horrible. I actually, before finishing this up, I do want to look them up one more time. They claim that they've done this before, and the chat has told me that they've had people arrested. I want to see that. Okay, let me just immediately show you why I doubt that these guys actually care and are doing this for a good cause. Just going to their website. This is the first thing. Before you get anything else, you get payment plans. This is fucked up. So now where can I find out their track record? Have they actually gotten bad people off of the streets? Or do I have to pay to get that information? Holy shit. Making merch for hunting pedophiles. That's so weird. What does that merch even consist of? It's gonna be like one of those, like, cool dad shirts, like, I'm a veteran, I didn't fight in wars for you to look at my daughter, I'll put you in the ground. It's gonna be like one of those. I hunt pedophiles for views on YouTube. Or for money on YouTube, excuse me. At least Anxiety War, I do know the channel. At least they seem to actually want to do something good. And being successful is just, it came with the turf for them. Like Chris Hansen. Though I wouldn't really compare Anxiety War to Chris Hansen, but what I'm saying is at least they seem to be in it for a good reason. And there's also no information on the site except for buying things. I just wanted to know, do they have any proof that their investigations and this content they've made has actually gotten anyone arrested, put away, off the streets, anything? A lot of you said that they did, so I'm just wondering where you found that information. Who wouldn't want to walk around with a shirt that says Predator Poacher Hunters Club? That'd be pretty cool. Ah, so the first thing that comes up when I look this up, vigilante investigation creates issues for prosecuting cases. Talking about the Predator Poachers. Ah, wonderful. There's not a lot that the police can do to sanitize a bad investigation from a legal perspective. So they actively made it difficult to prosecute a pedophile. They're doing the opposite of helping. Yes, here's the main difference. Something I talk about. Things like To Catch a Predator is done in collaboration with the law enforcement. So that way it's done in the right way so that they can actually face legal ramifications. Okay, so here's a positive one. I don't know if this is the same group because the guy behind it asked to be uncredited and unnamed, which does not sound like the Predator Poacher guy at all. But a vigilante predator hunter got 2 people arrested, and one of the charges stuck. I don't think this is the same group though because the guy explicitly asked to not be named. Whereas this guy wants all of the limelight possible for as much money as possible. So I don't even know if that's the same guy. But if it is, something has really changed along the way. That was in March of last year. Yeah, the benefit here is, as opposed to the other ones, EDP was a public figure that was preying on children. So even if he doesn't get any legal charges, which I think the evidence is there that should work, even if he doesn't, he's now lost the platform where he was preying on kids. So that in and of itself is a good thing. I would normally agree with that, Nobud, but the thing is he was using his public platform to prey on people. So he should be publicly shown in this light. So that way people can avoid him. I think that is very much the right way of handling this case in particular to make it all public. I don't think anyone's sympathizing with the Predator. It's really just a matter of the person who caught the Predator is so unlikable that you can't help but mention it when talking about the story. I really don't think there's anyone on EDP's side. Everything he said and did is deplorable. But when you have the guy who caught the Predator saying, like, quickly get here, he's calling for backup, you can't help but be like, holy shit, not only is the pedophile evil, but this guy's also evil. Like, you know what I mean? It's hard to just focus on one guy when they're both bad. I've kept a naughty little secret from all of you for the last 3 weeks, and I feel it's time to just blow the lid off of this and let the cat out of the bag. I've been playing basketball on Sunday mornings as well, so that means 2 days a week I'm out there becoming the elite hooping machine I was born to be. You might just see me walk on in the Alright, I just hit a full-blown Porky Pig right there. What I was trying to say is I might walk on in the NBA. Totally irrelevant to what we're talking about today, but you should know that I'm out there grinding 2 days a week, pick up basketball. I'm going to be an absolute monster. What's your excuse? Get out there, Buster. Enough lollygagging. We're here to talk about the huge Pokimane drama that everyone is discussing right now. So for those of you that haven't been following, and I imagine a lot of you maybe haven't, though I think there's an equally likely chance that you have... My brain is scrambled. What happened? I left my frontal lobe out on the court today. Alright, post-lobotomy Charlie, gonna try and lock it in here. Pokimane started a snack company called Mann. It's focused on selling healthy cookies right now with her Midnight Minis. And immediately it fell into controversy because the price point is very high for some cookies. $28 for 4 packs of cookies, which comes out to about $7 per bag. There's also a lot more moving parts to this drama because a lot of people started to recognize the similarities between Mina's Midnight Minis and Totesi's Midnight Cookies as well. The ingredients on both of these are pretty much the same, except Mina has some added vitamin D. It's extraordinarily similar. Even just giving it the old eyeball test, it looks like the same product. So a lot of people were saying this is a white labeled thing, which is pretty normal in the influencer space. But she's selling her cookies for much more than the Totesi Midnight Cookies. So I'm not here to just really dive into the nitty gritty on the cookie drama itself. There is so much information on it. She's also come out to try and explain that her Midnight Minis are a refined version of those Totesi Midnight Cookies. Like hers are like improved, which is why they're more expensive and this and that. That's not really what I'm here to dive into and get into the weeds of. She recently went on stream today and I think did the worst possible maneuver you could ever do when trying to sell something to your audience.
When people are like, oh my god, $28 for cookies? It's 4 bags. That's $7 a bag. I know math is hard when you're an idiot, but like if you're a broke boy, just say so. Anyways.
Matt was actually the one that sent me this clip today, and I just assumed this had to be some kind of bad joke she tried to tell, but watching the clip, it seems like she's legitimately upset and actually just calling people that don't want to pay for it or can't afford it broke. That's an elite gamer move that I had to take a step back to process that she would just say that publicly. I was so dumbfounded upon hearing that I actually went back to her stream VOD where this happened to try and locate this moment to see what happened next. Because this is only 20 seconds. I thought there was a chance that right after it, she's like, no, just kidding. I'm pulling your leg, hardy har har, just a joke. She doesn't do that.
Like if you're a broke boy, just say so. Anyways, moving on. If you want to pay $8 for Twitter Blue for some pixels, that's okay. That's fine. You spend your money how you want. I'll spend mine how I want. And everyone else will spend theirs how they want. That's the beauty of having it. She is.
That seems to be where the topic died, at least from what I've skimmed through here. So it doesn't really seem like she was doing this as some kind of like side-splitting comedy bit about like broke boy, haha, just kidding. I actually love my fans. She does giggle about it afterwards, but it feels more like condescending. And then she just says, moving on. Like, it's just a really shitty thing to say. And then she does what a lot of other people do, which I find really weird, which is mentioning Twitter Blue for some reason. Like, Twitter Blue offers this dog shit service for $8, you spend your money on some pixels, whatever. You spend your money how you want, and I'll spend my money how I want. Well, yeah, nobody's forced to purchase your product or anything, but they were having a legitimate discussion on the price just being a little out of their comfort zone for what they'd want to spend on it. Like, it's a discussion her own community was having, and then she just, out of nowhere, out of left field's like, if you're broke, just say so. It's like, what the fuck? I have no doubt her manager and her whole team saw this clip and just together took off their hat, stood up, hands on their hips, and they're like, you know what? It was a good try. Hey, we gave it our best whirl. Like, they had to have seen this, and then immediately, like, the office went up in flames. I don't know what would possess her to say something so rude and nasty to the audience she is trying to sell this product to directly shame the consumer that you want to buy into your product is a galaxy brain tactic. A strategy that I'm not sure the success rate of. Like, $28, no matter how you spend this, is a lot for some fucking cookies. And I think the way she keeps trying to break it down and rationalize it is pretty disingenuous. It's $7 a bag, and that's still expensive, but then you also have to factor in that the bags aren't even big to begin with. It's 4 ounces per bag. 4 ounces of cookies for $7 is still a lot, especially when you compare it to the product that they're basing it off of and supposedly approved upon, the Tootsie Midnight Cookies, those were $10 a bag for 14 ounces. So even though the Tootsie Midnight Cookies were $3 more per bag, they offered you 10 ounces more of product. And they were sold in Costco. A lot of people really enjoyed them, but most people didn't like the price. That was a pain point of that. $10 for a bag of cookies is a lot. So $7 for a smaller bag of cookies, significantly smaller, is a lot too. Like, it doesn't matter how you boil down this math. All roads lead to this being an expensive product. That's the brass tacks of it. That is the hard pill to swallow. There's really no way of spinning this where $28 for a 4-pack of these cookies isn't expensive. It is. And to try and call people broke for not buying it or not being able to afford it is really some out-of-touch shit. And the really foul part about all of this that my little noodle will never be able to wrap itself around is a streamer calling their audience broke or poor. Bub, your wealth was built on their backs. Them watching you supplied you with money through the ads that get played to them. Them directly donating to you took their money and gave it to you. If they weren't watching you, you would be getting no sponsors, which make up a lot of streamers' income. You need them, and you are dropping trouser and shitting in their mouth right now by just insulting them over them having legitimate criticisms over the price point of the product. It makes no sense. Your wealth was accumulated because of these people you're now calling broke and poor. It is incomprehensible to me. You were made from these people that you are now shaming. It's so weird and so fucked up. Now, again, $28 for a 4-pack of cookies is a hard bargain. This is already priced out a normal consumer. This is purely for your fans that want to support you. So they are the only ones that will likely be buying this. $28 is not going to be like mass adopted by just normal snack shoppers and enthusiasts that want a good healthy snack, I don't think. It is a lot, even compared to other healthy alternatives. Because I do get healthy snacks. I know what a lot of these prices are. This is still an expensive product. I wouldn't be paying $28 for a 4-pack of cookies unless that came with 5 strippers and legitimately every vitamin and nutrient my body could ever need, and then guarantee that I'd get 3 inches taller by the time I finish the 4 bags. Now, that's not saying that the quality of the cookies is bad or something. Like, they look good. They might be extraordinary. I probably would enjoy them. They're probably pretty tasty. But they are an expensive product that I probably wouldn't pay for. This is definitely something that is 100% geared and marketed towards her audience of fans that want to support her, and now she is publicly shaming a big chunk of them, I imagine, who don't want to spend $28 on some cookies. Like, it's a very fair thing for people to talk about. Like, hey, Pokimane, this is kind of a lot for the cookies. And for her to go on stream and boil it down to people being idiots who can't do math or a broke boy is just, it's so mean and just bad. Like, not only just from, like, a personality perspective to say some shit like that and shame people that support you, but it's also just bad from a business perspective because this is all sold off of your reputation and people wanting to support you, and now you've done a huge disservice to that here. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's something that 3 years ago she criticized another streamer for. Like, it seems like she recognizes that insulting your audience for their financial situation is a horrible thing to do. Because 3 years ago, she made these tweets in response to someone who was, like, shaming their audience over, like, not donating $5 or subbing for $5. I saw people passing around these tweet links, and, like, she clearly was able to recognize then, like, hey, a lot of people that watch you might not be in the best financial situation, but that doesn't mean you need to be, you know, nasty to them about it, or make them feel bad about it, or try and shame them or insult them. But then 3 years later, she just did. I don't know how this is going to play out for the future of her new snack company. It's definitely not a great start, not really hitting the ground running. A bit of a stumble here, I would say. But I guess who really knows? Maybe her audience responds really positively to this kind of thing. I'm not certain. Personally, I feel it's a terrible look. I've never really respected when people try and look down on others who have less money than them or insult them for, you know, not being as wealthy as they are. I think that is just absolute trash behavior. So this was a pretty surprising clip to see floated around today. That's really about it. So yeah. There's a crazy clip from Pokimane's stream going viral right now that I really want to talk about, but it also made me want to speak on a story I've never told about an experience I've had that's somewhat similar to the one she describes here, at least in terms of creepiness. And, well, now I finally have a reason to get that baby off my chest here, so that's gonna be cathartic. Let's dive in.
Many years ago, when I was like super omega active on YouTube and I was working with a lot of different editors, there was one editor in particular that I would work with a lot because his edits were really good, but he had one major problem, which was that sometimes out of nowhere his videos would just be like a week or two late. Months go by and he messages me out of the blue and he says, "Hey, do you have time to talk? I'm ready to finally tell you why I've been struggling so much with deadlines."
In the history of the human race, I don't think there has ever been a good ending to the sentence, "Hey, do you have a minute to talk?" That always precedes the most vile shit you'll ever hear in your life. I can't even imagine a situation where you'd hear that sentence and think anything other than the most negative thing you'll ever hear is about to happen. Like, imagine you're in heaven and the Lord pulls you aside right in front of the pearly gates and he says, "Hey, you got a minute to talk?" Well, you immediately assume you're just going to hell. Like, there's just no world where that sentence ever precedes good news.
Tell me why he proceeds to tell me that the reason why he would sometimes turn around videos a week or two late is because he couldn't stop touching himself. I was trying to pick which word to use. To me, his, in a way, employer of many months.
Stop for a second and really let that stew in your noodle. Let it marinate for a bit. How Coomer-brained must you be not only to do this degenerate act of just fucking beating your meat to a streamer's gameplay footage that you're editing, but then tell her that the reason you're late on some of the edits is because you can't stop squeezing your hog to the footage that she sends you. There are so many layers to this onion here. Let's just start by picking apart the most obvious. Why? Now, I know in the most severe cases of porn addicts, they'll sometimes try and communicate directly to the porn star by, like, leaving comments or sending messages or whatever, and that's always the saddest shit you'll ever see. That'll bring a tear to even the strongest man's eyes. Occasionally you'll see those moments where dudes try and directly communicate to the porn star, leaving comments on their posts saying things like, "Can't wait to watch this one when I'm off work," or "When my wife goes to bed, that's when the bad boy will play. Thanks for providing me with tonight's entertainment," whatever. Like, just leaving these desperate posts, you know, cock in hand, giving a salute, like, "Thank you, madame, for your service. This will be a legendary gooning sesh." But even in those cases, they're communicating with someone they don't know. This guy was her editor for many months. And he was not only jerking off to the content he was being sent, which was just gameplay videos, I imagine, or like just chatting stream moments, nothing even sexual, and he was still choking the chicken to it, fucking playing the skin flute, and then had the gall to tell her that he was doing that, is just incomprehensibly unhinged. She was his boss. She was employing him. So he basically went right through HR, bypassed that protocol, went straight to the top of the food chain, kicked in the door, and said, "Listen, boss, I'm fucking obliterating my wiener, and what are you gonna do about it? That's why I've been late on my deadlines." Like, I don't think he came in with that energy. I bet he was, like, super shy about it. He was probably like, "Oh, Pokimane, so I know I've been kind of late recently, but it's only because I was, how do you say, jerking off to your work."
When I tell you I've never halted a conversation so fast, because I'm like, you're the person that I send like hours of footage to. I don't want to know what you're jacking it to. I don't want to know more. I shouldn't even know how much I know right now. I shouldn't know.
I'd actually argue that it's better she did know this, no matter how awful it is, but that way she can get the fuck away from this weirdo ASAP. Just say, "Take a hike, Buster. This is fucking terrible."
But I felt so bad. So when he's like, you know, like, this is like an addiction of mine, I genuinely felt really bad. So I still paid him for months. What the hell do I do? Fire him? Am I even allowed to fire someone because they're...
That's definitely towards the top of the list for the best reasons to fire someone. That actually might be reason number one why you could go ahead and can somebody. Because they can't stop fucking beating their cock to you, their employer. And they're also not doing their job well by being 1 to 2 weeks late. Which, by the way, is a long time of just fucking gooning here. This degenerate would miss his deadlines by a week or even up to 2 weeks because he was obsessively polishing his scepter to his employer. You 100% can and should fire someone like this. It's not like the Better Business Bureau is going to defend him. You're not going to have agents show up at your door knocking and be like, hey, listen, we know what happened here. You discriminated against this kind, gentle sir. You fired him just because he was obsessively masturbating to you. Well, I'll have you know this is a free country, ma'am. This is a civilized society. You can't fire someone for that. There's no crime. What is the charge? Busting a nut? An immaculate gooey nut? This is democracy manifest. Like that just wouldn't happen. But I actually understand why she was hesitant to do that. And this is where I'm going to get into a story I don't think I've ever told. I'm pretty sure I haven't. Where I had something somewhat similar happen a long time ago. Not to this level, but something closely related. So a while back, I used to just accept any voice acting role I was offered by any human being with a pulse on the planet. If they said they needed voice lines done, I would do them for free just because I really enjoyed doing it. It's actually how I met Jackson, and if you have ever watched the official podcast, you'll know that our X-Men origin story between Jackson and I's friendship is that Jackson actually scammed me through this process. He sent me an email asking if I'd be down to do voice work for his upcoming game, and then sent me like some in-game screenshots and promotional screenshots that were actually just Dark Souls images that he photoshopped to fit his game style that he tried to sell me on. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm definitely down to do voice work. And it turns out he never had that game, he just wanted to play games together, and we did, and ended up becoming extremely close friends, and now we make Godslap together. Like, he's been a friend of mine for almost a decade now. And it came from that. But there's definitely a dark side to that. The Sith Lords definitely did exploit that very stupid thing I used to do, just accepting any voice acting roles ever from anybody. So, I think this was after I had met Jackson and after we were friends. I can't quite remember the exact chronological timeline here, but I received a very interesting email from a very peculiar man that under any other circumstances probably would have triggered red flags in a sensible person's mind, but for me, I saw the word like voice acting opportunity and I was like, I'm in. Say no more. So I emailed him back saying that I was absolutely down to do this and when should we get to work on it. So we communicated back and forth a little bit and eventually set up a Skype call because this is when Skype was still popular. I think one of the best things that's happened in modern day is that Skype has died. That was legitimately just like fucking official malware. That was the worst program that ever saw success, and I am embarrassed that it ever got as popular as it did. But this was a different time and day back then. So we went in Skype and we had our first voice call a couple days after that initial email came through. And it wasn't like super weird. He conducted himself pretty professionally. He was trying to tell me about the game. I don't remember all the details around it. It was a game that never was going to happen, though. It was unbelievably ambitious. It was some kind of like MMO hack and slash with like a super deep branching plot lines, all made by him, the solo dev. He was just spamming every buzzword he could about this game, but again, it didn't matter to me because it was voice acting work, and I wanted to get the reps in. And so I just said, yeah, like, I'm super on board. Let's stay in contact. You can send me the script and whatever else you need. And that was kind of the end of our, like, introductory call. And man, did I open Pandora's box. Pretty much immediately after that call, he would start messaging me on Skype often. And it wasn't about the project all the time. Sometimes it was just about his day, which I would engage with. I'd be like, oh, it's really interesting to hear about how your day's been going. Thanks so much for sharing. And then he'd start tiptoeing into like some other small talk. It started to feel like he was interrogating me sometimes, where he'd be like, so what'd you do today? And I'd tell him, be like, oh, so like, you didn't really respond earlier. I thought you were just doing something really important, but you were just hanging out at home. That's kind of weird. Like, what? Are you sure that's all you're doing? I was like, brother, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not like always on Skype. He's like, oh, no, that's fine. You just didn't respond to me. And then he'd start gradually asking more and more questions, like questions you would ask someone on like the most awkward first date imaginable if you were some kind of Reddit mod. He'd be like asking me certain things like about anime and just like general interests and shit. And this is right before I had graduated college. I was still in college because I remember he was asking me about how my schooling was going. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's going well. How's your project going? And he'd tell me some shit that I know wasn't happening. He's like, oh yeah, I got a lot of work done today on the game. I was in C#, really just fucking in my flow state. I took like the limitless pill, and man, I programmed fucking 15 trees, and I have 17 actors doing mocap for me, and they're all martial arts specialists, so the hack and slash animations are top notch. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Do you have like that script or anything ready? He's like, oh, it's still being worked on. And then he just keep kicking that can down the road and change the topic of like, but enough about the game. Tell me about exercise physiology. What's that like? It's like, brother, you're not my mom. Like, why are you checking in like this? I don't care. And we're not really like close or anything. So why would you get upset if I don't like respond to you in a timely enough fashion? Like, it was just a disaster. So this went on for like a few weeks of this kind of stuff happening every couple of days, and I was ready to just wash my hands of it and just say, all right, this voice work isn't worth, I'm not getting the juice isn't worth the squeeze, as they say. So I kind of just started to let that peter out. I'd really very rarely respond to him, so he'd send me like a few messages over the course of like a week or two that I just would ignore. And then it got really bad. This guy was sending me, like, deep messages, and some of them just very unsettling. And then he eventually sent me a message talking about how he's about to end it all. And, he doesn't expect me to respond since I haven't responded in so long, but he just wanted me to know how much our friendship meant to him and all that. And I fucking freaked out, immediately responded to that when I saw it. And then he once again just switched gears and was like talking about my day and his day and this and that. And once again, just going down this small talk and then like interrogating me like, well, why haven't you been responding? So that I had to come up with a story like, oh, just haven't been checking Skype for the last few weeks, just stuff going on. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, okay, yeah, I'm sure. And then getting upset and whatever. I recommended him getting like professional help, which he claimed he was doing and seeking, but it wasn't really working. The only thing that really helped him was our little chit-chats back and forth. So obviously I kept that door open, and luckily the frequency of his messages was much slower, so over the course of a few months now, the messages were far less often. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but it still just felt miserable to keep this communication open. It felt like a hostage situation where like if I didn't respond, he might do something, and it was scary. And as this continued for quite some time, he'd make threats occasionally of harming himself if I didn't respond in like a fucking speedrun fashion to one of his messages. When I got into a relationship, he sent a really creepy message about like, well, is it serious? Why is it serious? What do you see in her? That kind of thing. Like, it was all really alarming shit. And I'm not going to keep boring you with details here, but similar to how Pokimane didn't immediately fire that guy because she like felt bad for him or was like a little afraid of what might happen or whatever, it's easy to take a step back when you're not involved in it and just be like, oh, this is what you should have done. But when you're actually in one of these like really weird fucking situations on like a personal level here, it's just a little harder to do that. So I do understand that, but again, definitely the right course was firing that guy. In my situation, eventually what I did was I just stopped responding. If he did send me one of those messages, I would reply just telling him he needs professional help, and I won't talk further about these kind of things with him because I am not a professional. I'm not equipped to deal with that or handle that or help him in any way. He needs real help. And that would be how I'd respond to those messages when he sent them, and he eventually stopped. But that went on for a long time. But yeah, anyway, just kind of wanted to talk about all this. That's about it. See ya. Just when you thought you'd finally seen all of the degeneracy disgusting YouTubers could ever cook up in their cursed kitchen, you get jump scared by a new outrageous, heinous act committed by a YouTuber. In the words of Qui-Gon Jinn, there's always a bigger fish. And in this case, that fish is evil. There is a new evil action that a YouTuber just proudly engaged in that I just learned about today. This comes from the true crime community. This comes from a YouTuber named Zavgirl, who charged people on Patreon for access to autopsy photos of a murdered 11-year-old boy. That is some morally demented shit right there that would have a demon cringing. Now, Zavgirl is refuting some of these claims and even released her own apology video explaining her side of the situation. Just a quick side note, apology videos have become 2023's Harlem Shake. This is a massive flood of apology videos that we've gotten in just like the last month. If YouTuber apologies were a stock option and you invested back in January of this year, you'd be a millionaire by now. It is crazy just how often this is happening. Now, her apology video might not feature a ukulele, but it's still just as shitty. But before really diving into that, I want to give a general overview of the situation. Zavgirl is a true crime YouTuber, and she had just recently dove into the case of an 11-year-old boy named Gannon who was brutally murdered by his stepmother, Letitia Stouch. And it is just unbelievably disturbing. The mother is on trial now, which I imagine is why Zavgirl wanted to start talking about it since it's now unfolding in court. I don't really want to get into the specifics of the case. Basically, the stepmother tortured the son, stabbed him a ton of times, shot him in the head, and then stuffed his corpse into a suitcase and started to pretend like he was missing. So she told the authorities all kinds of different stories, like he didn't come home after going to a friend's house. Then she even came up with some kind of fucking wild narrative about how someone that was fixing her carpet ended up raping her and then abducting the child. So she got caught lying a ton of times. Eventually, investigators found blood on her shoes and in her car as well as in Gannon's room, and then her DNA on a gun that was linked to Gannon's death. So they caught her and realized that she was responsible for Gannon's murder. So Zavgirl followed the Letitia Stouch case and said that she had recently made an official records request, which is something I didn't even know you could do as just like an average Joe Schmo. I had no fucking clue that any goofball goober could just ask and get sensitive files like she received. I guess I'm just very naive to what you're able to ask for, but I feel like those kind of things should only be made accessible to the victim's family as well as like official sources, not just YouTubers. But that's just me, I guess, speaking as a goddamn Neanderthal who I guess doesn't understand how things work here. That was surprising, but she said that she had made an official records request and then received all of these documents, which she posted on her Patreon. I'll go ahead and play this clip from her apology video where she tries to explain that this is a little misleading. She wasn't just charging for autopsy photos, she was actually charging for everything, which included autopsy photos.
I have followed the Letitia Stout case closely, and it was actually during the trial that I made the official records request. And it was in El Paso County, Colorado. I requested all the video, audio, and written records. I made no request for autopsy photos. I wanted all trial records, but my main interests were interviews with Letitia. The autopsy photos just happened to be in the files.
Not exactly the slam dunk you think it is here. You still did charge for all of this sensitive information, which does include the autopsy photographs, as you mentioned. I'll be extremely charitable here. I'll really throw you a bone and assume you're telling the truth that you didn't specifically seek out autopsy photos. You still got them, and you still published them, and you still charged for them on your Patreon. They were a component of what you were charging your audience for. You legitimately set up basically a booth in your Patreon where you could go in and look at photos of a dead child and learn everything that happened to him with the murder. How do you not recognize how incredibly fucked up that is? That is bafflingly evil. I understand desensitization is a real thing, right? Doctors get desensitized to gore and blood. Gamers get desensitized to being insulted in video games over Xbox Live. I get it, but I just don't understand how someone could ever reach the point where they're desensitized to the brutal murder of a child, and so desensitized, in fact, that you're going to charge people access to it. other depraved fucking people that for some reason want to pay money to see photos of a dead child. So again, even if your primary goal wasn't to get autopsy photographs, you did receive them, you did publish them, and you charged an admission fee for people to look at them. You were making money off of showing people someone's dead child. How can you not recognize the complete absence of humanity and complete lack of empathy? She was also just giddy with excitement that she got her hands on all of this in the first place. Here's a community post that she hasn't deleted. Well, and I think she has deleted other ones, but I'll get to that in a moment. But she said, "Hey you all, so I got a bunch of Letitia Stouch case files I'm going to be releasing. So there's some new videos and info, and also some videos they played in court, but the quality wasn't the best, so I have the originals where it's not a recording of a crooked TV screen. LOL! So if you're interested, keep your eyes out for my videos. I'm gonna get them out as fast as I can. There's some that might take me longer because, for instance, all the text messages, I like to read them for you, so those will take me some time, but I'm gonna try to get them out as soon as I can." Just a quick side note, she sucks fuck at writing. I guess she just doesn't believe in grammar. There wasn't a single comma to be had in this entire statement. It made it very difficult to read. It was just one long, random, vomited, evil thought that she put on the community tab here, with random capitalization of random words. I guess, you know, her pinky gets really excited and just slaps the shift key down mid-sentence sometimes to capitalize a random fucking word. But anyway, you can see the excitement here in this post. She is elated, celebrating like it's Christmas now that she has these records, because she's going to get a lot of content out of the records for her Patreon and for her YouTube audience as well. She was fucking roaring to go. And then she did. And she faced backlash even from her own community. So in the article I read about this situation, they referenced some of her community posts that I can no longer find. I don't know if they were deleted. So I just wanted to put that out there that these are no longer on her channel. But according to this article, she addressed the criticism in a lengthy statement saying, "The reality of the situation is that different people feel differently about this. Some people genuinely think making a video including the autopsy photos is bad, and I respect their opinion and feelings. Other people, like myself, think of autopsy photos and the coroner explaining them as interesting and informative, and are able to view it all in a more scientific, detached way. It's just one of those things where it depends on the person." Hey Zav girl, let me hit you with some cold water real quick. If you're the kind of person that looks at photos of a dead child and goes over the details on how they were brutally tortured and murdered and think to yourself, this is good content. This content's a fucking banger. This is going on Patreon right now. I'm gonna get fucking paid for this shit. Let's go. Then you're a bad person. That's the kind of person you are. You are an evil piece of shit person is what you are. This isn't like some kind of debatable position. This isn't a hot take for me. I don't know how she even thinks that there is a large number of people that think like her where, oh, we actually just look at photos of dead, murdered children in a scientific, analytical way. As we could learn from this, like, oh, look at that. Stabbed 1,000 times. This is very interesting. I'm giving that an updoot, and here's $5. Thanks for showing me this. That's not common. She literally dropped a, "I'm sorry you feel that way," over this whole situation in her community tab, I guess. That blows my mind. That blows my mind. And this is something I've always wondered about from the true crimes community, if there's ever any actual empathy for victims from channels like hers. I know that there are some true crime productions that actually aim to do good by trying to solve cold cases, and I think there is like a legitimate effort to do something there that's more than just exploitative, whereas what Zavgirl does here is legitimately just exploitative. She is trying to capitalize off the trauma of this family and make money from it for her true crime channel. I actually don't know how she sleeps at night. According to the article, the community post continued and it went into her denying that the autopsy footage that she distributed showed genitalia. She said, "I understand some of you have issues with me charging money on my Patreon for the video. If I was charging money for the autopsy files alone or something like that, I think I'd see your point. But in this case, I spent a lot of time and worked hard putting together a video lining up the coroner's audio and descriptions along with the appropriate part of the photos she is describing and editing it together to try and make it as informative as possible for the viewer. That's what I'm charging for, which I would hope you can agree is understandable." Zavgirl, I don't agree. It's not understandable. I completely disagree. Basically, what you're describing here is you made an autopsy photo montage where you synced up the photos of a murdered child's body with the coroner's explanation on how they were murdered and died. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I don't know why you think that that's effort worthy of compensation, or why you think that what you did is a good thing. This isn't informative by any means. You're not like a documentary filmmaker that's paying respect to the victims' families or anything like that. This is the most disrespectful shit ever. Like this is beyond reprehensible. If you were aiming to create an informative video about the situation, why do you need the photos to accompany it? You could just have the coroner's explanation of it. You don't need the photos there. Clearly the reason you had them there is because you knew people would maybe pay for morbid curiosity to see a murdered child, because there are some sick fucks in the world. That was clearly the intention behind having the photos there. Like, there's no other argument you can make for it, because again, if you wanted to just make a piece of content that was supposed to outline the horrors of this case, you could do that without showcasing the child's body. That's basic common sense. But I want to make it clear, even if you never published the autopsy photos, I still think what you did was exploitative and disrespectful to the victim and the victim's family. What you did here is not just provide details to a case to try and educate people on something horrible that happened or anything. You turned this case into a spectacle for your community to, like, give you impressions and engagement on. The goal of what you did here does not seem to be information or anything like that. The goal from you seems to have tried to be like a piece of entertainment about it, which is so fucked up.
I didn't think any of the images were new. These photos were already public, although the video I put together with the coroner's voice was my own creation. I chose to put the video on Patreon because of the sensitive nature of the evidence. Putting the evidence behind a paywall meant added security, and I naively thought they wouldn't be made public.
Well, that was certainly a dumb thing to listen to. Putting it on Patreon is still making the information public. You took private information and you published it on Patreon. A paywall does not mean that it's still private. It is easily accessible to anyone that wants to fork over a few doubloons to access it. Thus, the information is no longer private.
The video I created with a voice from the coroner wasn't meant to be shared outside of Patreon, and I chose not to put the photos on YouTube, a public forum, where the views would have allowed me to make more money, and the photos would be seen by more people.
Wow, you're such a saint. What an angel. She took a pay cut by only posting the murdered child autopsy photos on Patreon behind a paywall there, instead of posting it on YouTube, which I don't think you could even do on YouTube to begin with. What the fuck? What are you talking about here?
Because the video was placed behind a paywall, rumors about the images not being blurred or being different than what was shown in trial started to surface. No photos shows genitalia. I have made no jokes about the photos. I don't even cuss on my channel, and I would never allow derogatory remarks about a victim. I realized my intentions were not communicated well.
This is deflecting. It's not your intentions that people were questioning. The entire act of what you did here is a problem. It is disgusting what you did. It has nothing to do with your motivation behind doing it. The fact you did it at all is the problem. There's no intention that justifies it. There just isn't. There isn't an argument you can make that will, in any way, shape, or form, make it seem reasonable to have published the autopsy photos in any capacity, or made all of those private documents accessible through anyone that pays directly to you for the information. And again, even if you did make all of this publicly accessible without a paywall, releasing all of this kind of shit, the autopsy photos, coroner stuff, all of that, I still think it is exploitative because you are capitalizing off of it. I still think there wasn't really a good explanation for anything you did in this whole situation. So it has nothing to do with your fucking intentions. There is nothing you could have done that would have made this understandable in any capacity. So, yeah. She then goes on to say that her Patreon did get shut down for it, which sounds about right. That makes a lot of sense considering what she posted on there. And, yeah, that's kind of the whole situation in a nutshell. That's about it. See ya. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you and your family have a wonderful time of festivities, food, and whatever else you may do to celebrate today. I'm starting my Thanksgiving festivities the way our forefathers intended, by reading through an unbelievably long list of accusations and allegations against a YouTuber named Dream. Massive YouTuber, I'm sure you're familiar with the channel. I don't know how he's celebrating Thanksgiving, but I'll tell you one thing I know he's not thankful for, and it's Twitter. There are at least 100,000 different threads attempting to chronicle every single allegation as well as like the supposed evidence to support all the claims. And this morning I decided to like finally just take the plunge, fucking cannonball into this cesspool and figure out what exactly he's even being accused of, what the evidence is, trying to make heads or tails of this wild web of things. And Jiminy Christmas, I'll just tell you, sports fans, I'm more confused than a caveman seeing fire for the first time. I've read through so much shit, and then I'll go to another thread, and then it contradicts all the shit I just read, and then there's a whole nother thread about debunking all of this shit, and then I'll finally feel like, okay, I understand what's happening here, but then from out of nowhere, a new challenger enters WrestleMania coming from the top turnbuckle and blasts the whole thing wide open by making some crazy claims about, like, actually the debunking was false, this is a fake account, or, ooh, the initial account that started posting these claims turns out to be completely fake, and here's proof of them admitting that it was all a ruse. And then apparently it's become a very common pastime for people to just make brand new fake accounts and start putting in a bunch of wild allegations on top of all of this to keep muddying the waters. It is so messy. The allegations include grooming, Dream being a pedophile, sending moaning videos through Snapchat to minors. There's a ton of claims, a ton of different things from a ton of different places. And throughout trying to follow all of it as well as the evidence, everything just keeps getting flipped around, and it's been extremely difficult to figure out what you can trust and what you can't. A lot of the claims do seem very believable, and some of the evidence seems credible, but none of it's like 100% concrete proof of anything. I truly believe Dream is a narcissist. I think most people believe that, and I think Dream knows his audience mainly skews towards kids. Dream's audience has always been on the younger side of things, and yet Dream constantly engages with them in very inappropriate ways, such as like posting thirst traps, some of the things he says, like all of that very public and very well documented. I think all of it's very creepy, and I've said that quite a bit in the past. So I think with his history of doing things like that, it makes a lot of the claims have a lot more weight to them because they're much more believable, knowing that Dream publicly does encourage his fans to be parasocial. He does post thirst traps, even knowing that his fans are children, which I personally believe is a creepy thing to do with the audience he has. So when these claims come out, I think a lot of people start to take them at face value because they're like, oh, that sounds like the Dream that I know. This sounds like something Dream might do, so it's probably true. Even though right now a lot of the evidence backing it up isn't the strongest. Even like there is evidence, sure, but it's nothing that 100% condemns him or 100% shows that the claims being made are accurate. Let me give you an example of one that blew up a couple days ago during the whole Dream did what Twitter trend. So Dream was accused of sending moaning videos through Snapchat to minors. And here's the evidence for that. This is allegedly Dream's Snapchat account, but there's nothing actually connecting this account to those videos whatsoever. You can easily just make a fake Dream Snapchat account. There's nothing in those videos that has his face or anything. It's just the sound of someone moaning that resembles Dream's voice. To me, it sounds more like a Shane Dawson moan. I don't listen to a lot of Dream, but when I heard that, I thought for sure this was leaked audio of Shane Dawson when he did that degenerate shit with his cat. These videos just aren't definitive proof of anything. It's a black screen with the sound of somebody moaning. Now that's not to say that this can't be real. It could be Dream. I have no way of knowing for sure one way or the other. It's just right now with what is presented, it's not enough to convince me beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is Dream here. Anyone could be moaning there and just say, look, it's Dream, listen, it's definitely him, but it's just a complete random person doing it. If they really wanted to get wacky with it, they could have grabbed the audio from that classic meme where the guy passes a kidney stone while coming and is like screaming while orgasming. Like that, and then just say, it's Dream, look, and it was sent to a minor. Even though, again, there's also no proof of it being sent to a minor, at least nothing that I can find here for that. So the only proof here is the name, Dream. It's clearly his Snapchat, it must be. And listen to him moan and look at what he said. And then it's just some like really fucking cringe text that seems like it's straight out of the worst written erotica fanfic ever. I'd kiss your neck and tease the shit out of you, run my hand up your body. Your tits are so nice, what the fuck, I just want to fill you up, princess. Oh, God. Sickening, vomit-inducing trash there. But I just don't see anything here that proves that this is Dream that sent it, A, and Dream that sent it to a minor, B. Like, and I also don't, just on a side note, I don't think anyone's ever been so terminally horny that they send a video of them moaning to somebody. That is just so conceptually baffling to me. I don't know if it's commonplace for a dude to do that, but I can't even imagine that. To just send a clip of you moaning to someone would be like the worst jump scare ever. Just, like, oh, are you feeling it now, babe? Like, do you like that one? Like, I can't even imagine that thought process. But again, there just isn't enough here for me to know what is true and what is false. As more and more evidence comes out, I'm sure it'll make it more and more clear, but so far, everything that keeps coming out has 1,000 other things that all try and, like, contradict it, and it just gets so hard to figure out what's real, what's fake. There is only one small chapter in this massive textbook here that I was able to confirm beyond a shadow of a doubt at least happened and is 100% real. And that's the entire saga of him versus Nicholas Cantu, the voice of Gumball.
10,000, 100,000 of them to take me down. So that's how minuscule you are to my size, right? My stature of intelligence, character, body, and reverence in the world. 1K is better for this pussy who doesn't want to give away his millions. Are you Jewish? No, man, because I'm gonna do movies, stand-up comedy, everything, all the shit. Music, whatever the fuck, e-commerce. You don't understand that you're talking to, like, a Michelangelo.
So, in this anime arc here, for all of the Dream controversy, what happened is Nicholas Cantu and Dream got into a big verbal disagreement. Apparently it even got physical with, like, Nicholas slapping Dream and this and that. Dream eventually filmed Nicholas in an Uber where he was drunk and high, so crossfaded. According to some of the claims, he was also going through a manic episode. In the video, he starts saying some awful shit. He starts saying slurs, too, towards Dream. And Dream captures this footage, eventually drops it online, and then goes over the situation. Both people catch a lot of shit here, Dream and Nicholas. However, the internet mainly rallied behind Nicholas against Dream. Dream is not a very well-liked person online for a variety of different reasons. In this case, they cited the fact that he filmed this and then tried to use it as a weapon is an extremely weird thing to do, especially when considering some of the other circumstances at play around this situation. I'm not here to get too deep into the weeds of the Gumball versus Dream stuff here. There's plenty of information out there about it if anyone's curious enough to look into it. The only reason I'm bringing it up here is because out of everything I've been reading so far, this seems to be the only one that I can confirm with 100% certainty this is a legitimate situation that happened as it was described and as it was claimed to have happened. Just like sand, you can see it, you can touch it, you can taste it, it's real, it's there. So there is a lot of proof around this one. This whole situation actually happened. Now, Dream has been anything but silent on this case. He's been engaging directly with all of the shit going on Twitter, and he made a statement saying that it's all false, it's all a lie, and he's making a huge comprehensive video going over each and every component of it. So I guess we'll have to see what he says in that video about everything. Obviously, I don't think he's going to admit to anything, even if it is true, but I think just by having him address it, it'll help figure out what claims even have real validity to them in the first place, because I imagine when tackling these things, he's going to go over the situation, which could help piece together the story, and maybe some of the claims do get proven true from Dream's video, even though he's been trying to make excuses for it. Like, there's no telling. If all of the claims are fake, if all of the claims are true, I have no idea, but all I know for sure is this is a fucking crazy, messy, nearly impossible situation to actually follow and get to the bottom of. So I guess we'll see what happens when he posts this, when he posts his video about this, and go from there. That's about it. See ya. Cody Ko is a YouTuber that probably doesn't need an introduction. I don't need to read the Wikipedia article explaining to you who he is and lore dumping. I'm sure most of you are at least loosely familiar with his content. He's been very large on the platform for years now. And recently, some disturbing allegations have come out against him. Now, the allegations against him aren't exactly brand new. They're not, fresh off the battle bus, hot drop in here out of nowhere. They've actually existed for a little while now, but never actually received a lot of coverage or a lot of attention. Kind of just been sidelined with people not knowing about it or not talking about it until yesterday when another YouTuber named D'Angelo Wallace gave some amazing coverage breaking down the entire situation here and going over everything that Cody Ko is accused of.
Someone has been alleging for years now that you, one of the largest commentary creators on YouTube, knowingly committed a crime against her when she was a minor. But YouTubers and viewers alike are ignoring and discrediting these allegations solely because the person making them happens to be an unlikable woman online, Tana Mongeau.
Yikes. Yeah, that's some pretty awful shit right there. That's a huge allegation that actually has a lot of evidence backing it up, which D'Angelo Wallace covers in great detail in this video. It's not some imaginary nothing burger that someone squeaked out between their butt cheeks to try and ruin Cody Ko. It's a serious accusation that appears to have a lot of evidence about it.
I'm not here to accuse you of committing a crime in this video because I can't do that based on someone else's allegations. Nobody can definitively take these allegations as proof, but at the same time, they should still be looked at and not treated as an open secret and swept under the rug like you've been doing for so many years now.
I think that's a great point. Even though these are still allegations with nothing that's been proven, since there is so much supporting evidence around the claims, it definitely is something that needs to be examined thoroughly because it is a huge deal.
And speaking of this podcast, about a month ago, she hosted a live episode in front of an audience, and the conversation turned to you.
Who's the smallest you've ever had sex with? Oh my god, did no one look at me, Cody Ko. I can say that. I was literally 17, I can say that.
This clip started making the rounds, and people were understandably perturbed, because if Tana Mongeau was 17, you would have been 25. So people started speculating, and Tana decided to set the record straight.
I hooked up with Cody Ko when I was 17, and he was 25.
I'm going to go ahead and break down these numbers here because it seems like people are starting to struggle with math, like teriology starting to pop off with 1 × 1 = 2 and all that. I'm just going to go ahead and explain this. 17 is less than 18. Thus, that is below the age of consent and is a crime. And I already have seen comments on this situation about 17, who gives a fuck? That's basically 18 anyway. And it's this same dog shit, brain dead, concerning mentality, like your hard drive needs to be investigated type shit that we saw with Dr. Disrespect, where they're like, no one should really care that Dr. Disrespect was talking inappropriately with a 17-year-old. Even though, once again, you absolute fucking Cro-Magnon, there is no evidence that Dr. Disrespect ever talked to a 17-year-old. Not even he said that. It had only ever been stated as a minor. Everyone around Dr. Disrespect never mentioned 17. It's actual delusional Fantasyland Narnia type shit where people are trying to defend him by saying it was actually a 17-year-old, 364 days old. Which is absolute fucking barnacles. Like, that's a load of fish paste. And even still, it's bad. I don't know how we've devolved so much where all of a sudden 17 is now something people try and justify. So like in this case right here, you'll have some drooling, stinky, bumbling morons in the comments saying how it's not a big deal because 17 shouldn't be an issue. Like, age of consent over in this region is actually 16, so really, he waited till she was old. Like, it's craziness. It's actually craziness. It is a crime. It is a minor. Still, it's bad. Like, I don't know why that needs to be explained all of a sudden. Now, something D'Angelo Wallace does make a point of here is pointing out that Tana Mongeau is not well liked. I'm sure if you've been on YouTube for any length of time, you've heard her name and seen a lot of less than stellar things about her. She has a history of lying and putting on a lot of bad stuff and bad behavior. However, when it comes to this claim, this doesn't appear to be something that she's just lying about for clout to try and elevate her platform on the back of Cody Ko's good name or anything like that. This is a story that's been told even a few years in the past about this situation here. So this isn't something that she just pulled out of thin air. This is actually an allegation that has existed for a long time that is only just now starting to surface.
She claims that not only were you fully aware of her age at the time, but someone even tried to stop you and you went ahead anyway.
There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a Playlist Live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17. And then we still went and hooked up.
To be clear, 17 is under the age of consent in many states, including Florida, where Playlist Live used to take place. So this means that Tana Mongeau is accusing you of statutory rape, and she's not trying to hide that.
This isn't just some crazy tea. It was a crime.
Remember how Tana said that fellow YouTuber Gabby Hanna tried to stop you before everything allegedly went down? Well, did you know that Gabby is actually on record telling the exact same story several years ago?
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he's like, oh my God, thank you for telling me. And then he turned that.
This is really, really bad.
Really, really bad indeed. Pardon my potty mouth here, but this is fucking disgusting. Like, this is by far the most compelling piece of evidence presented, because this is a completely separate third-party individual coming forward now with the same story years ago, exactly how Tana described it. Finding this clip was huge. I don't even know how it was unearthed. Huge props for finding this ancient artifact, because apparently it had been scrubbed from like everywhere. I don't even know how you would have even gone about finding something like this, but I really think it is an important piece to this story. It's a very strong piece of evidence, and it should hopefully showcase that this isn't just something Tana is making up on the spot for attention or anything like that. This is something that has been talked about for years. There's a lot of comments that get shown in the video with people shitting on Tana for bringing this up, like, oh, this is prehistoric, why would you ever bring this up now? You just want attention, you absolute harpy. Oh, who cares? This is bullshit, it's all a lie anyway, all you do is lie, liar, liar, plants for hire, you harlot, those kind of comments, like unhinged people about this. And I really think that this Gabby Hanna clip that's been provided should shut that garbage down. Of course, it doesn't prove 100%, the authenticity of everything. As D'Angelo Wallace also explains, these are still allegations. But that is a pretty substantial piece of evidence there that should at least show why this needs to be talked about and should absolutely be addressed directly by Cody.
People make accusations all the time, specifically regarding things that are very difficult to prove or disprove, unfortunate as that may be. But when somebody makes an allegation and they say they have a witness, and that witness can be found telling the exact same story years before any of this came out, that's not something I can just ignore. In a situation that cannot be proven, corroboration by a third party goes a long way. I'm not accusing you of committing a crime, but even if what Tana says is false, your silence is still grossly incompetent at best.
It really is a pretty bad strategy here. This isn't something John Madden would draw up in the playbook. Burying his head in the sand and hoping that the storm blows through doesn't exactly work in a situation like this. I mean, I guess it has up till this point, since so few people were aware of it, but now that it's being talked about more and more, I do think that he's going to need to come forward about all of it. There is quite a bit of time in the video dedicated to the community's response to the allegations, because it is bad how, like, viewers have responded to all of this. Basically, and it is a good point that D'Angelo Wallace made, because Tana Mongeau is widely disliked by the broader YouTube audience, when she was the one putting these claims out there, people attacked her, like dogpiled her for saying things like this. Like, they jumped on her like she had just, killed a puppy in front of them. Like, people responded to her in the worst possible way with these allegations. And Tana made a really good point where she said if this was any other YouTuber she was talking about, one that wasn't as highly regarded as Cody, the response would be completely different, where she'd be getting sympathetic messages and support for coming forward with her experience. But because it's Cody, it's been a biblical smackdown in the comments against her, which is just like a crazy response to something like this. I mean, there were some lunatics there, like genuinely hateful people saying like the most misogynistic shit you could find in the comment section about this, because she dared come forward with her experience and talk about that situation. Now again, yes, they are allegations. Nothing has been proven. But there is a lot of evidence here that should at the very least get a response from Cody Co about all of this. And it's not like he's not aware of what's happening. As pointed out in this video, he is seemingly censoring his YouTube comment section.
And now you're choosing censorship. On your YouTube channel, where you've been pumping out content nearly every day now, I couldn't find a single comment on your last video about this situation. Not even one. Comparing that to the comment section on your Instagram, where every single comment I saw was about this, it's clear that you're heavily censoring your audience on YouTube.
I actually went and checked this myself because this is a Lego build that you can follow along with at home. I went to his latest upload and clicked newest in the comment section because surely you'd see some now after this is being blown up into a huge story. But even when filtering on his newest upload by newest comments, I still only found a couple of comments that referenced this. So it really does seem like it's being heavily censored in the YouTube comments. Because with how big the story is, you would expect a lot of them, especially when you look at his Instagram. But somehow, nothing on YouTube? Yeah, that's very suspicious. That definitely smells like he is censoring the comments there. So it's not like he doesn't know what's going on here. Tana also said that he had reached out at some point kind of about this, saying like, are we good? So it's not something that he's just unaware of, and that's why he hasn't addressed it. D'Angelo Wallace also points out how he's responded to things in the past, like he paywalled an apology for like an old clip that surfaced where he was using a slur. So he's talking about like the history of responding poorly to situations that Cody finds himself in. And then he brought up this, which I'd never heard of.
Not many people know that you've already lost fans over an eerily similar topic. You used to frequently feature and promote your college friend Colby Leachman in your videos, until it came out that during your school days, Leachman's university put him on probation for, as a United States District Judge would later put it, the non-consensual videotaping of a sex act with another student, showing the video to other people, lying to the police about the video, and behaving horribly to that individual and at least one other woman. To make matters worse, the woman in the video also alleged that Leachman drugged her before the recording and that she hadn't actually consented to anything at all. You had this man in your videos. You were telling us to follow him on Instagram, and at some point you did wise up, so he's no longer part of your content, but he still seems like he's very much a part of your friend group. From the continued hangout since then to inviting him to your wedding just last year, people are under the impression that you're best friends with someone who, at best, committed an illegal sex act and at worst is an alleged rapist. And no matter how many times people rediscover this information over the years, you refuse to say anything at all.
That is baffling to me. Like, it's one thing to be friends with someone who turns out to be a monster, but once you learn that they're a monster, that's where it should stop. I've said this before. If my best friend Matt turned out to have like a secret double life, you know, a Jekyll and Hyde situation where Matt goes out there and he does something truly heinous, I would cut them out of my life. I wouldn't be able to go forward being friends with someone like that. You know, giving him a fist bump saying, hey, we're still bubble buddies, bro. Like, I couldn't do that. So it's so weird to me that Cody can, and when people have talked about it in the past, apparently Cody has just ignored it. That is very, very odd.
I haven't seen a single channel over 1 million subscribers do so much as acknowledge that this situation exists. And I'm not talking about channels that never would have discussed something like this either. I mean the same channels that were rightfully calling out people like Dr. Disrespect for texting a minor, which are the same channels that are now completely ignoring a scenario with an even bigger creator being accused of doing something much worse.
D'Angelo Wallace makes a point a couple times in this video about the silence on this subject being staggering, considering in the YouTube ecosystem there's tons of commentary channels that'll cover a wide variety of topics, sometimes rumors that aren't nearly this serious, you know, like a 2-part docuseries on that time Markiplier allegedly pooped without peeing. Or, in my case, I'll make a whole rant going over how aliens probably aren't visiting us via theoretical warp drives to haunt our boners. And yet, somehow, a story that's this serious just slips through the cracks and didn't have many people talking about it until very recently. So I'd like to at least take a quick moment here to explain why I hadn't covered it. Now, I did hear the whispers about this Cody Co allegation about a week ago now, where someone in stream chat had mentioned, hey, have you heard what Cody Co apparently did with Tana Mojo? And on stream, I asked what they were talking about because I hadn't heard shit about that. Eventually, another chatter explained that I could find more information about it on Reddit because a conversation was starting to develop around those allegations. So I made like a note of it and then went to bed. The following day, I got home pretty late and then went to follow up on things from the previous night. Because sometimes during stream, I'll make like tabs about what people are telling me to look up. I don't do react content on stream or anything anymore, so if it's like a video that people are recommending I check out to get caught up on something or whatever, I'll make a tab for that video and then watch it when I get back to the following day. And when it came to the Cody Co thing with the Reddit post, by the time I got to it, it was deleted. So I kind of assumed that maybe the claims were just baloney, and I didn't see a whole lot of chatter about it. I saw a couple of tweets that loosely talked around it, vaguely, and I just didn't look into it deeper than that. And I recognize now that that was a mistake, so I'm sorry for that. But I just didn't find a lot of information at the time, until, of course, last night when D'Angelo Wallace posted the video covering all of this. So I know the speculation has been made that the reason people aren't talking about the Cody Co situation is because he's a channel that a lot of people respect and is friends with a lot of the community. So no one wants to speak out against their friend or a channel that they respect so much, thus they're trying to help, bury it or not let it, erupt into the mainstream. For me, that wasn't the case. When I went looking for the info after that stream, I didn't find anything, and I didn't do a big enough dive on it to access it, so I just kind of stopped looking, which, again, was a mistake, clearly. I've talked about Cody Co's content in the past. I've liked his content. I respected him as a content creator, but I'd never say that we were friends or anything. I went on his podcast one time, and I think we only ever talked in Twitter DMs once as well. We weren't exactly like inseparable friends, the best of pals and buddies or anything. Like, I imagine if we walked by each other in a crowded mall, we'd do one of these to each other, and that'd probably be the end of it. This isn't some kind of story that I was avoiding or anything like that. I just truly didn't do enough digging on it because, as D'Angelo Wallace does mention, this story has been pretty successfully buried for the most part, where a lot of people just weren't aware of it, and I didn't do due diligence to become aware of it. But luckily, D'Angelo Wallace did, and created this great video going over all of it. So I wanted to talk about this because obviously it's a very serious situation. Cody Co absolutely should come forward to explain all of it, and if there is another side to this story, tell it. If it's wrong, set the record straight. It's a very upsetting story here that at the very least needs to be addressed by Cody publicly. This can't be another paywalled apology situation or anything like that. This should definitely be something that he comes forward and actually talks about. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. Whoa. Yeah, I just learned about the whole Lakari thing. Jinkies. So for like about a year or so, I was very offline. I set out to leave these four walls of the old loony bin more often to go breathe in the fresh air and really appreciate the Lord's land out there in the real world. So I was missing a lot of like the happenings in the internet space and all the drama for the most part. But over the last month or so, I've fallen off the wagon. I put the needle back in my arm to a certain degree because I wanted to see all the craziness going on in the world to stay up to date with everything that was happening. And as such, I've been much more online now and seeing a lot more of these kind of things. And today was a doozy with everything that just happened with a streamer named Lakari. Lakari is a streamer I've been loosely familiar with for a while, and I know he had built up a reputation for being like a turbo maximum overdrive gooner, like a self-proclaimed hentai connoisseur, basically setting the goon dial to freaky mode. And today on stream, he accidentally leaked his notepad that was filled with despicable and disgusting shit.
K feeds. Let me at least add way to the list of champions that I like. Fuck.
The links are censored there, but apparently a lot of people have taken the plunge into looking up a lot of what was revealed here through the Lakari leaks, and what they have found is beyond heinous. Like, this is some evil shit we're talking about here. Things like family nudism, apparently. Like, that's some real pedophile shit right there. Also, like, teens and animals. In that notepad there, you might have saw one of the tabs that said JBT. It was like 500 JBT. Apparently that stands for jailbait teens. Like, it's bad. Like, really, really bad. And after this happened, his stream was calling him out on it. And most people expected him to, in the stream, to like hide the evidence, nuke it, basically banish it to the Shadow Realm and hope that people didn't have enough time to dig into it. Lakari, on the other hand, cooked up a different kind of scheme. He streamed for multiple hours after this happened, and just fucking face-tanked everybody that was digging into it, and all the people that were rightfully calling him out for how deplorable the shit they found in there was. So he kept streaming through this, and people were obviously researching what the fuck had just been revealed through this notepad and everything on there. And then he was trying to defend himself by saying like, oh, this was sent to me, or oh, it was actually a virus, or this and that. And then the stream, they weren't really buying that load of barnacles, so then they asked him to do something like show his notepad recents, to show what else had been on his notepad recently. And apparently he took quite a long time not doing that when requested by his chat. According to members that were asking this of him, he was looking at like his other monitor, potentially doing something there, and then eventually he showed his notepad. And the keen observers might notice a little something in front of their peepers that's a bit fishy.
Fap for Fun? Fap for Fun is a hentai site. You also visit Fap for Fun? Yeah, I download a lot of that shit. Couples? Okay. That's literally, is that not the, that's the file with the sus shit in it. Like, it says one thing, but it has a bunch of sus shit in it. So I don't understand. Like,
when he showed the recents on Notepad, there are 3 new text documents. And it doesn't take a super sleuth. You don't need Inspector Gadget to come in with some high-level tools in order to crack this case. The most likely reason is because when he looked at his recents in Notepad, there were probably some really awful things there that he knew people would pick up on. So then he opened some new text documents in Notepad to push those down out of the recents so people couldn't see them. That's the theory. That's just the game theory, but I imagine that's probably pretty accurate. Anyway though, his big claim from what I can tell with all the surviving clips here is that this is the result of a virus that uploaded this to his computer, and he had already removed it, but unfortunately that damn Windows 11, that dastardly bastard that is Windows 11, for some reason kept it around, which is really weird and odd.
how does it end up there? Okay, let me explain what happened. All right? I was surfing a site. Okay? The shit got downloaded. Like, I didn't trigger a fucking download. It just got downloaded. I opened up the fucking text document. I saw what was in it. I deleted the text document. I deleted it. But the problem with Windows 11 is that even if you delete the text document, it apparently still stays there. So it was still there after I deleted it. I've told you guys 1,000 times that's what happened. Like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I have like a fucking 3 terabytes of fucking hentai on my fucking hard drive, bro. Like a lot. Sometimes you go to a site, some shit downloads on your shit, you don't fucking want it, you fucking delete it, and that's just what happened, man. Okay? Like, that's what happened. I'm sorry, all right? Like, I don't know how many times I have to explain this, but that's what happened. Dude, let's just move the fuck on, please.
A very interesting, innovative defense strategy that could make a lawyer throw himself down a set of stairs. So he's saying that he's got 3 terabytes of hentai, which, just take a moment and process that, really let that marinate. That is an absurd amount of anything to have. This guy is basically compiling the fucking Library of Alexandria for hentai on his devices. That's fucking crazy. But he's saying that, you know, like Thanos, it was inevitable that this kind of content would somehow end up on his computer when downloading all this hentai. It happens, you know? Just, it is what it is. And then when he deleted it, Windows 11 went rogue. The ghost in the machine. It wouldn't let the notepad die. Like a necromancer, it revived it. And once again, brought it back to life on Lakari's device. Even though he himself deleted it, he tried to take it down. Windows 11 said no. That's the claim, that when he was downloading all the hentai, he noticed that this got downloaded too, so he deleted it, but Windows 11 has a feature that kept it around even after he deleted it, and he didn't plan on having this stuff in the first place. I'm going to tell you, it doesn't really pass the smell test. It is very hard to believe. Now, what is true about Windows 11, and Notepad in particular, is if you are working in Notepad, and you don't save your work, like if you exit out of it or your computer crashes and you don't save it, Windows 11 can restore it. It will actually restore that even if you didn't explicitly save it. So let me show you what that looks like. I'll open Notepad, brand new, the quick, wow, brown fox jumped over the lazy log. I have clearly not saved, I have not done anything here, I have just typed into this and you can see that the title matches the text in the document. Now if I was to close out of it, I haven't saved or anything like that, but if I open Notepad again, it's still there. Even though this is not a document or anything that I have saved, because it will save sessions. In Lakari's case, the text didn't match the title, which means he most likely had a separate title for those sections. And also, he said that he deleted it. If I was to, like, delete this, if I told this, don't save, delete it, Notepad would not restore it. At least, I don't think there's any way for it to, but maybe Lakari's working with a prototype Notepad that refuses to let anything die. It saves all work no matter what you tell it to do. I find it unlikely, but I guess it's possible, potentially. Actually, here, let's play with that idea again real quick. Let's say Lakari went, I'll just go the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy log again. I haven't saved it or anything, but let's just go ahead and pretend that I came here and I said don't save. But once again, to show the whole process, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to close out of this. I'm going to reopen it, and it's still there, because it does save sessions like that. But if I came over here and I explicitly said don't save, and now I exit out of this, it will no longer open that. So, I find his claim very hard to believe.
43K? And that's if they think it's like... Oh my fucking god. Bro, it's not worth it. Just fucking delete my hard drive.
This is him on stream now looking at the legality of lolly in his state, Texas. He doesn't fully understand what he's looking at, but he can recognize that it's not good, and then he eventually says that he's just going to delete his hard drive. It's not worth it. Now, call me crazy, maybe I'm on the crack pipe, but that just doesn't exactly sound like a statement from an innocent man. Like, if you've done nothing wrong and there's nothing suspicious, illegal, or like pedophilic or anything like that, why would you then be saying that you're going to delete your hard drive? It's not worth it. That's very fishy, I'll tell you. And again, from that leak, from that notepad, the things that have been allegedly turned up from all of it are fucking unforgivable. Like, really disgusting, terrible shit. And him then saying, like, you know, just delete the hard drive, it's not worth it. Again, that doesn't really seem like behavior from someone that has nothing to hide.
I'm joking about it. What the fuck, dude? What are you just writing your own narrative? You're just writing your own narrative, man. What the fuck else do you want me to do? What do you want to do? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't do anything. I didn't fucking do anything. That's why I'm not fucking crying and sobbing, bitch. I didn't fucking do anything, dumbass. You just want me to be guilty so fucking bad. Shut the fuck up, retard. Jesus fucking Christ, I'm so sick of this. You want me to be guilty so fucking...
Yeah, like I said, he continued streaming for hours, so obviously people were talking about it for a long time. He snaps eventually and kind of goes ballistic about it, saying like he didn't do anything. Again, I find that kind of hard to believe given everything that happened on stream, at least from the surviving clips that are out there from it. It does not look good. This looks fucking awful. And Lakari got a ban on Twitch for all of this. Apparently he even got banned on Kick. I don't know if he like actively streams on Kick or if that was like a preemptive thing from Kick because they thought he'd go over there after he got banned on Twitch. I don't know, but if you try and go to Lakari's Twitch account, it has been removed as of right now in light of everything that happened during this stream. Again, I find it unlikely that this unfolded the way Lakari is claiming that it did, but I guess we'll see. I'm assuming there will probably be, you know, an actual kind of investigation here, judging by what was allegedly found in some of that leaked from Lakari. Anyway, I had to yap about this a bit. Fucking crazy, man. That's really about it. So yeah. Kindness. What do you think of when you think of kindness? Good deeds, smile on your face, helping others. Maybe you even picture some positive presence in your life, like Mr. Rogers. Well, it's time you throw out everything you think you know about kindness. You see, Dharman fam, real kindness is this face. Dharman is so kind that he has even accepted a formal position at the NFL to be an officer of kindness. That's right, we can all rest a little easier knowing that Dharman is the NFL's first Chief Kindness Officer. Now obviously today is Super Bowl Sunday, and Dharman's no doubt going to have his work cut out for him with a bunch of rowdy fans and a lot of tempers flaring based on what's happening in the big game with the pigskin. But I think Dharman's up to the task of making sure everyone stays happy and kind. It's like Cupid, but instead of shooting arrows that make people fall in love, he shoots arrows that make people kind to one another. So you might see a Seahawks fan and a Patriots fan arguing, but Dharman will come through, separate them, and say, "Wait! Why don't we all just get along?" And then the two of them will exchange a handshake and maybe even offer each other some money. You see the news about Dharman becoming NFL's Chief Kindness Officer. I keep forgetting to look that up. But yeah, I saw Dharman has been knighted by the NFL, I suppose, as the kindness officer. Let me see what that actually means.
3. Would you rather have $100 for yourself or $500 to give to your teammates?
$500 to give to my teammates.
Why'd you choose your teammates?
I think they deserve it more than me.
You want to go pass it out? All right, let's do it.
Nice! Spreading kindness, let's go!
Anglazi, you deserve it, bro.
What's up, bro?
So what is... I was hoping this would be an explanation on what the fuck the Chief Kindness Officer means. So he just does Mr. Beast style shorts? Now, just to be clear, if he's giving away money to kids and organizations that need it on behalf of the NFL, that's fine. I don't really think you need to have a position, a label as the Chief Kindness Officer. That feels very performative and odd. But if this is something Dharman wanted to do in partnership with the NFL to just give back to, like, the community or, you know, charities, I obviously had no problem with that. I just think this whole, like, Chief Kindness Officer push is very peculiar. Oh, wow, this just came up. The Super Bowl's Chief Kindness Officer had 5 felony charges. Wait, what? Dharman has felony charges? It's an invented honorary position the league made up this year to promote sportsmanship, empathy, and positivity both on and off the field. Essentially, the Chief Kindness Officer is here to make sure everyone are friends and have a good time. This year's Chief Kindness Officer is Dhar. In 2010, he was accused by his business partner of running what he called a hydro-Ponzi scheme when Dhar pulled out of We Grow, a hydroponics cannabis business. In 2012, he was charged with 13 felony counts for defrauding an Oakland City beautification program by submitting fraud. Here, I'm going to just put this on screen. By submitting fraudulent checks that made it appear as though he was paying contractors more than he actually was. The 13 charges were reduced to 5 and he pled no contest. In 2023, this is what I remember, actors employed by Dhar Studios claimed they had poor working conditions and unsustainable pay. Here's something from Dhar on Facebook. Let me see. Maybe he explains it.
And I'm starting the Be Kind to Your Rival challenge, where you have to say something nice about someone who you haven't always seen eye to eye with. And for every person that participates, I'm going to be donating $10 to help kids at St. Jude. So I'm going to choose Mark Wahlberg because, Mark, ever since that day that you invited me to your house to have that crazy leg workout, I was not able to walk for like 2 weeks after that. I had to literally be carried up the stairs. But because I got to say something kind, I will say after that day, it helped me lock in. I've been taking ice baths. I've been in the gym.
You couldn't at least just choose someone that you actually don't like? For your own challenge, you couldn't just choose someone that you actually have a disagreement with? How about the judges who charged you with felonies? Yeah, at the very least, just choose someone you just don't fucking like. That's like the whole point of this, right? Trying to make amends with people from your past that you don't always see eye to eye with. Why are you just choosing your friend who gave you a leg workout? No, Charles, you idiot. He has to humble brag he knows Mark Wahlberg. Ah, you're right. I didn't even stop to think about that. Imagine it was you he picked. That'd go kind of hard, actually. But not me. It'd be Chinese Charles. There's this fucking asshole on Billy that keeps talking all kinds of shit on my productions. Still really trying to find out what his role with the NFL is for kindness officer. This does not feel related to the NFL in any way. Alright everyone, choose someone you don't like and say something nice, and then I'll be donating some money to St. Jude's. I mean, that's great. I mean, just donate 100,000. I think that's great. That's kind. You see, scientists created a universal kidney that can match any blood type. That's nothing. NFL's Chief Kindness Officer Dhar created a smile that can match any face. Now, honestly, the duties of this position still elude me. I don't know if he's going to be like fucking Commissioner Gordon here from, the Gotham City, where he's going to be out on the streets doing kind gestures. To me, it seems like this is purely just a PR thing to team up with Dhar, who is massive and has a huge audience, to do little Mr. Beast style shorts and handshake with the NFL saying thanks for sponsoring NFL. It doesn't seem like this is a genuine thing to try and spread positivity or kindness. It seems like it's more just marketing mumbo jumbo here with Dhar face on it. But maybe he is, taking a real role here. And I think if that is the case, I would love to hear from the NFL's Chief Kindness Officer about the latest scandal in the NFL with James Pierce Jr. James Pierce Jr., linebacker for the Falcons, just did something I think, pardon my French, is pretty fucking rude, actually. I think he's a bit of a jerk.
To Falcons. And before that happened, police say Pierce Jr. was at the police station and allegedly involved in a domestic dispute. This video that you see here shows the first round pick of 2025 being brought to the ground by several police officers. Doral police tonight telling us they first heard reports of Pierce Jr. and his girlfriend, WNBA star Rickea Jackson, having an argument at the police station. Investigators say Pierce left in his car, then crashed near Northwest 103rd Avenue and Northwest 66th Street. Pierce Jr. faces 6 charges tonight, 2 counts of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, assault on an officer, stalking, fleeing, and misdemeanor resisting arrest.
Not good. The Falcons put out a statement saying, "We are aware of an incident involving James Pierce Jr. in Miami. We are in the process of gathering more information and will not have any further comment on an open legal matter at this time." Now, I would like to hear from Dhar Man here. I think this is not good. What you just saw on the news there, with the officers on top of him like they're trying to recover a fumble, that's no Dhar Man skit. You know, this isn't one of those moments where Dhar Man's bestowing some sage wisdom on us like, treat others the way you want to be treated. And I'd like to hear his perspective, as someone who is the preeminent expert on kindness. Anyway, though, as of me making this is a pretty brand spanking new, so there's multiple reports, and some of them conflict in certain cases, but from what I've gathered here, it is alleged that James Pierce Jr. crashed his car into his ex, Rickea Jackson's vehicle. Then, as officers tried to apprehend him, he led them on a police chase that ended with him crashing his car and also hitting an officer as well, which is then where the video kicks in, where they had all the officers on top of him attempting to arrest him. Not good at all. I imagine this is probably the end of his career as a football player and probably the end of his time as a free man for quite a while. Those are some hefty charges, and from what I've been seeing in the reports here, it seems like he was attempting to seriously harm, maybe even kill Rickea Jackson, ramming his car into hers. That can easily kill people. So, very serious shit, very bad stuff, and kind of just wanted to yap about the Dhar Man Chief Kindness Officer because it's kind of silly, and then as I was doing that, this happened, so just decided to talk about all of it. That's really about it. So, yeah.